Well, often I hear cited that music brings people together, you know, whereas I think the industry pulls people apart. If music is something that brings us together and is a vehicle for people to be together, then it's I don't know what all the other stuff's for.
There's no society, but there ain't no family neither. I'm just alone with my phone.
As with anything in life, people sort of, there's this idea of what it's supposed to look like. Or what, you're a musician, you've got a band, are you making a record? Have you made a film clip yet? Have you got a YouTube account? Do you have a web page? Have you got all... And it very quickly moves away from, I play an instrument and my mates do too, and when we get together we have fun and we play music together. That's the point of a band.
You go, well, okay, if you're going to have an industry, you need professionals. If you're going to have professionals, how many professionals are there? How many people want to be professional? How many people are professional? How many people are getting to being professional? So I think there's various levels. And it's apparent down here too that it exists, but challenging. It's Tasmania, it's challenging, Josh. What can I say? It's Hobart.
In other bigger states, they've got a lot more support structures through managers, publicists, labels that actually do a lot of the job that Music Tasmania is charged with doing, and part of that is we just don't have the population in Tassie to support a lot of those businesses.
4 or 5 years ago, or 5 or 6 years ago, there was a bit more happening in the industry, where music managers would get together and have meetings and have chats, and we had the Amplified conference where there'd be seminars and people would talk about different things, about running a band and managing a band, and there's not much of that going on right now.
I wasn't part of the local music scene. Like, I've only been in Tasmania for 5 years, and like it's been better since I've been able to establish relationships with other musicians and like the managers of the venues as well, and that took a while because I was like just this random, you know, woman like saying, give me a gig.
Because there's fewer opportunities. When musicians have opportunities, they kind of want to keep them. But I think that it should be about helping the young musicians and people getting into the industry, so that it creates a fruitful industry, one that you know, produces lots of things, not just lots of the same thing.
And it's all about that audience. Like, how do you develop audiences if the only pub you get to play at is your local pub every week? And audiences get sick of that.
It's an oxymoron. Tasmanian music industry, no one makes money from it, no one makes a living from it, there's no infrastructure around it. We don't have record companies that make money, we don't have musicians that make a full-time living from it, we don't have anyone making significant money off it. We are in a capitalist society, and this whole industry is propped up through government money, but now the government has stopped funding it.
Fans are the ones still buying the music, are the ones going to the shows. But your fan base, to increase that, means you actually need to tour, you need to export your work, you need to showcase. So the greater your audience, the greater your market appeal, the greater the success you have of developing a sustainable career.
Touring's really hard for Tassie bands. I think half the problem is everyone gets stuck here or doesn't experiment with going to other places to play and just seeing what's out there and, you know, joining forces. I think regional's where it's at. I think everyone should be touring out in the country. Everyone should be doing regional shows. You know, I think that's certainly where your survival is. I don't think it's in the inner city anymore. Never has been. Actually, inner city was always too cool for school.
With the touring around Australia, we do have a big cost with Bass Strait, that we can't just jump in a van and drive for hours to get to the next city in Australia. But I think in Australia, it's hard to tour anyway. it's just even harder in Tasmania. If you look at Europe or the States, there's a city every 3 or 4 hours apart. Whilst in Australia, your cities are like 8 or 10 hours apart.
So in Tasmania, we're at a complete disadvantage because to actually tour, we have to get off the island. So you're already out of pocket before you've even gone to a new venue to try and sell some tickets. Whereas I think some of the other places like Melbourne and Sydney are more connected, so they don't have quite the same level of challenge that we have in Tassie around that.
Yeah, Dead Maggie's model is the money we make from gigs goes into the bank account. The bank account pays for flights, petrol, van hire. So if we're doing well, then we get to travel as much as we want.
I've personally found that building relationships with other female musicians, because then there tends to be a little bit of taking care of each other, I've felt, particularly with outside of Hobart, like Bansheeland and Launceston, and then we've met some amazing female musicians in Melbourne, and I feel like they're really open to reciprocating and supporting and just really working together. And it's not about like, you know, this is about my band and my show. It's like, let's come together and have a wicked night and celebrate each other's art.
We don't have any incentive, and I don't think that's just at a state level that it's their responsibility. I think on a federal level as well, that there needs to be some kind of subsidy or incentive for acts to tour regional Australia.
A lot of people want to join bands for different reasons. They just want to, play, or they want to, be on stage and have a bit of fun. Some people are really super serious about it.
Because I guess I'm not someone that really wants to do something unless someone really is like enjoying it, other than me.
See, I'm the opposite of that. I'm like, if I'm enjoying it, then to hell with everybody else.
A lot of bands are hit and miss and come and go. A band is a family, and you work through the challenges. If the music's good enough, I think you should work through the challenges. If the music isn't good enough, well then I'd say if it's a fucking challenge, walk away from it.
My idea about music was, especially with things like busking, was just, here you go, here's some music. And I think opportunities come from that as well, which give you opportunities to make money, which to be able to build a career that maybe one day you might even be able to sustain living from it.
I think for me here and now, like success within Straddlepus is definitely being happy, being satisfied with the product. I hate saying product. Being satisfied with the music, being satisfied with the performance, generating enough to keep ticking it over, so that we're not constantly running at losses. And we do have some better options in terms of what we can do with the music and the performance. I want to keep going while it's fun, I want it to be fun. And as soon as it isn't fun, then something's gone wrong.
Be nice to play on a huge stage somewhere at some time, but it's not the end all be all. If we do, great. If we don't, great, because I'm happy where I am.
And so I've moved away from the pubs and the non-traditional venues and things, and moved increasingly to home shows where I can control everything and do something meaningful and fun. But even that spectacularly loses money. But you do it for love more than anything else, and I'd rather do something that I care about, that's important to me, that is super cool and is a little bit different and a little bit unique, because events in the pubs, I think it's a bit dead. It's, no one listens to the music. They just do interviews while the music's playing with sick, drunk filmmakers who are obviously on meth, who can't even formulate a question like, what's... Oh, okay, so you want me to talk about it?